Hey friends, Yarrow here. I'm up in the subalpine. It is midsummer and I'm out picking arnica. I've got my basket here, but I came across another plant that I just love, and this is Pedicularis. Now, the one I have here is the Pedicularis racemosa. There's also the lanceolata in this area. This is the sickle top Pedicularis, and it's a really gentle, soothing herb. It has a really nice flavor, but it's also one that I just wanted to mention and I thought would be useful to make a little video on, because this is one for anxiety, for tension, for pain, for releasing us from our kind of either social anxiety or inability to sleep from insomnia. I think it's a great herb for overwhelm. And in the modern world, a lot of us are feeling a bit overwhelmed. There's a lot of things we can't do much about. And there's also a lot of tension and anxiety, social anxiety. This world's changing, and with it, we may want to look to some of our herbal allies like Pedicularis as medicine to help us modulate those changes and to be more of the adaptogen that we know we are meant to be on this planet. So Pedicularis grows up in the subalpine. It is a herb that is not endangered, but is being threatened a little bit. So before I get into much more of the medicine, I want to just mention that this has become really popular in, I guess, kind of the sort of some of the American herbal subsects where people are looking to work with anxiety, but also to get people off of cannabis. So because this has become popular, and it is one that is smoked and gives a little bit of a euphoric feeling, not a high, but more bright colors and releasing anxiety and just a good general body feel, people are starting to turn to it, and it's actually making it more threatened. So caution there not to over harvest this. If you see it, make sure you use your sort of sustainable harvesting methods where you scout out the whole area and make sure that there's not only a little bit. Find areas where it's really abundant, harvest it in healthy patches, as well as make sure that it's not near plants that are toxic. This is a parasitic plant, so it grows off of the energy of other plants. And now the word parasitic is, in all senses, not a nice word, but I like to think of plants like this as actually ones that help the environment, that actually they're growing off these other plants because they're supporting that whole larger ecosystem. And so similar to other ones like I'll say ghost pipe and those sort of saprophytic type plants, is that I feel like they have that nervine quality for the whole ecosystem. So it's not a true nervine, but it is one that kind of relaxes anxiety. It kind of looks like a skeletal system a little bit, not like horsetail might look, even more so, but this has got these almost fern-like, fragile, I'd say for that Vatic mind, for that kind of windy mind, here's a plant that might help to calm it down. And so I love that. It grows in these subalpine glacial melts. I'm out here actually on the ski hill, and I find that this is one that loves to grow in these kind of wetlands along the subalpine. All along the meadows in the subalpine, you'll see different species of Pedicularis. There's at least 4 different species that grow here. Another name for it is wood betony. Now, it's not your traditional wood betony. This is just another common name for it. Parrot's beak. There's one out east that is elephant's head. That's another great one that actually was brought to more awareness by Michael Moore, and is definitely a powerful medicine that we see from the south and the east for nerve pain, for muscle pain, for especially skeletal muscle pain. It's also been used as a uterine tonic. So here's a plant that might be helpful for pain in that area. Now, it's not usually considered great for smooth muscles, but this is an area that some women have said this is really helpful for. I'll also say for tension headaches and things like that, when we have just tense in the body. I've seen it used, and I've actually used it myself after a hard day's work. So when our muscles are sore, hence another one, just like arnica that's growing up in these mountains, it might be useful for that sore back or this kind of stuff, sore muscles in that way. But really, the biggest thing is that it's calming anxiety. That's what I wanted to speak about. We live in an anxious world right now, and there's a lot going on, a lot that we can't do much about. And so how do we help to buffer our own anxiety? And here's a plant that can help us with that. Now, as I mentioned, it's helping people get off of cannabis because it's calming the anxiety and overwhelm down, but it also has a nice tasting smoke. It's not got a lot of tannins, so it doesn't make you pucker. It just kind of has a nice flavor to it. I actually really enjoy this as a smoke, although it's not one I would use as much on its own. I'd probably put it into a blend, but it's one that you might want to work with. If you're going to do that, you're going to just use these flowering tops and maybe a little bit of the leaf, removing and garbling off a lot of the stem material to make it just a tasty one that can be easily rolled up. Now, with that being said, the thing is that we want to be careful if we're using this type of medicine to calm anxiety and tension, but we're not dealing with the root cause of the anxiety and tension, then we're missing the mark. Now, the other things I'll say about Pedicularis is because it is a plant that is growing in popularity, I don't want to overly promote this, and I almost, had second thoughts on even making this video because I don't want to see a whole bunch of people getting out and just rush harvesting this. Be sustainable, be ethical with your harvest. Make sure that when you get out into an area that there is a lot of it, it's in abundance, and only take some from the odd one. I will say you don't need a lot. This is one that's great as a tincture, so if you're going to do that, there's no way that any person will need more than a liter of tincture, so don't harvest too much. If you're working with it as a practitioner, you may want to use it as an alternative to things like kava. This is one that has been used in replacement of kava. It's also one that might be useful for any of your other kind of pain and anxiety and tension medicines. All right, thanks for joining me. I hope you get out and connect with Pedicularis. Let me know if you've worked with this plant. I did hear one person tell me that they made an oil with it and used it on muscle pain and back pain and found it really useful. I think that might be good for tension headaches and all that kind of stuff too. Okay, ciao for now. We'll see you next time. Broo.